Well, good evening. Thank you for joining us. My name is Nathan Qualls. I'm Director of Technical Services with New Water. We're here to talk about our downtown Interceptors Renewal project. I appreciate you taking the time out of the evening to learn about this really important project. So I'll do some introductions, little background on New Water, what it is we do, who we are, before jumping into a lot of project details. Overview, planning, design, schedule, cost, those kinds of things. Adam Shelton from Brown & Caldwell will do that for us on our behalf. So again, New Water, I'm Nathan Qualls, Director of Technical Services. You may have met Lisa Saru. She's staff engineer at New Water as well, and is our project manager, sort of our main point of contact, coordinating and leading that project. And then, as I mentioned, Adam Shelton from Brown & Caldwell is the project manager and design manager, sort of our main point of contact for this particular capital project. So who is New Water? You may not have heard us called New Water before. You may have heard us be called Green Bay Metropolitan Sewerage District. That's our legal name. That is our entity. We are a public utility providing wastewater conveyance and treatment for 15 municipalities here in the region. You see, for example, the city of Green Bay. They're our largest municipal customer. Alloway, Schwabanon, the surrounding towns through their sanitary districts. That's who we serve doing wastewater and conveyance and treatment. This project is focused on the conveyance part. That's why we're primarily doing public engagement at this point, because it is outside of our fence and out in the community that we serve. This map's a bit hard to see. It's really zoomed out on the overall region, but you can see in the green is the service area that we serve that treats wastewater at our Green Bay facility. Our treatment facility in Green Bay is located at the mouth of the Fox River and the Bay of Green Bay. And then the orange service area flows to our De Pere wastewater treatment plants. We are responsible for both of those two treatment facilities. That location is near Schwabame Park and Brown County Fairgrounds. So we've proudly been serving this community since 1931. We do that around the clock, 24/7, 365. We make this possible to have a community here by conveying wastewater to these two wastewater treatment facilities. We do it in the cold, we do it on those hot days, make sure that you can enjoy those services anytime that you need them. Last year we cleaned about 15 billion gallons of water. It's a lot. We operate those two treatment facilities and 78 miles of interceptors. When I say interceptors, that means kind of the big pipes, right? So your municipality, for this example, the city of Green Bay owns and is responsible for a lot of the sewer pipes that are in that neighborhood. However, once that wastewater combines with another wastewater from a different community, then we own the pipe. So as wastewater enters from Alloway, for example, into the city of Green Bay, then New Water owns that larger pipe to convey the wastewater to the treatment facility. We do this with the environment in mind. We do this with protecting public health and our public waterways. This is our mission and our vision and drives everything that we do at New Water. But I'll go ahead and hand it off to...
So I'm going to talk about the project overview. This is like project need, what we're going to do, what the project entails, and how that impacts all of you guys. So first and foremost here, as Nate kind of mentioned, New Water's been around since 1931. These pipes, these downtown interceptor sewers, have been here since the 1930s. That's when they were constructed. Typical design life for a concrete sewer pipe is about 75 years. So you do some quick math on that, and these pipes have kind of exceeded their design life. They've performed admirably up to this point. That is one project need, is just simply the age of the pipeline. Next is condition. So during kind of the routine kind of maintenance and inspection program that New Water has, they found some what we call defects in the existing interceptor sewer system. A defect does not mean like the pipe is collapsing, anything like that. It's just a variable from the original construct condition. And so we're going to address those defects. A couple of those, inflow and infiltration, that's in that lower left-hand corner. If you guys can see that, there's kind of what we call a gusher. There's groundwater coming into the pipe. That groundwater then is conveyed to the treatment facility. New Water has to treat that groundwater. It's expensive to treat water. So We want to try and eliminate that inflow and infiltration. Second, in the lower right is some deterioration of the existing interceptor sewer system. There's kind of some orangish, reddish coloring there. That's the existing concrete of the sewer is kind of getting eaten away by the bacteria in the wastewater. So we're going to try and take care of those structural kind of defects as well. Then there's these incrustations, and that's in the upper right here. These kind of happen from the inflow of groundwater as well. There's like calcium builds up that happens. It limits the capacity of the existing interceptor sewer, and it can cause some like blockages in the interceptor sewer. So it's best to take care of those before they get out of hand. There's another need, is condition of the existing interceptor sewer. Lastly, these are the downtown interceptors, and so this is considered like critical infrastructure. These pipes that you see, green, pink, and blue, convey a little over 50% of the entire Green Bay metro area's wastewater. If something were to happen to one of these, we would have a problem on our hands. So proactive kind of projects and maintenance is the best way to handle some of this stuff. So critical infrastructure is your kind of final need there. Cost of this, we're estimating about $15 million. That'll be paid for by the 15 municipality customers that Nate mentioned in one of the earlier slides. And those improvements are just to revitalize this aging infrastructure, extend that design life, protect public health and the environment through the proper conveyance and treatment of wastewater. That's kind of your project need there. I know we looked at it a little bit over there about where the project is located. So this is the entirety of the project. It's kind of far-reaching. It's maybe difficult to see from where you guys are sitting back there, but we're calling this the downtown interceptors because it's primarily in downtown Green Bay, and it's a little bit in the village of Attaway. So we've got them color-coded, and I'll go through them real briefly here. We'll cover these a little bit more. But the Fox River Crossing, that's kind of up at the top. Generally under Main Street, kind of from Hampton Inn over there to Quincy Street. There's the East Fox River Interceptor, generally under Adams Street. Then the East River Interceptor is in two sections of blue, and I'll explain that once we get to that slide. But those kind of follow the East River, kind of why it was named that. And then there's a portion of that interceptor sewer that was abandoned back in the 1970s, and we're going to do some work to that too. So this project, we're calling it 3 different sites. Those 3 different sites are the Fox River Crossing, the East Fox River, and the East River Interceptor. So the Fox River Crossing, we've got acronyms for everything. We're not the military, but engineers have acronyms for everything. So Fox River Crossing is the FRC. A little over 2,000 feet of 60-inch sewer that was installed in a tunnel. So there's some photos of that over there of some of the tunnels that were constructed. As I mentioned, it's kind of generally located under the north lane of Main Street is where this is located. The East Fox River Interceptor, generally under Adams Street, the west curb line of Adams Street, and it's about 4,200 linear feet of 42-inch and 48-inch pipe. That's that horseshoe pipe that was installed back in the 1930s. And the East River Interceptors, we've broken it up into 2 sections, the upstream and downstream sections. So in total, that's about 7,000 feet of 30, 42-inch, and 48-inch pipe. The downstream section is between Quincy Street, kind of roughly follows the river all the way to Baird Street over by the high school. And then the upstream section is in Green Bay Park's property by the East River, and then kind of up to the village of Alloway municipal boundary. I mentioned this abandonment. So the old East River Interceptor was installed back in the 30s, I believe, but it was taken out of commission in the 1970s when the East River Bellevue Interceptor was installed. So it's kind of, think about it as decommissioned but not properly abandoned. There's potential to use these pipes to route other utilities inside. There's already kind of a hole in the ground. We could use those. They haven't really been used like that. So we're going to go ahead and properly abandon this old East River Interceptor. It's about 7,300 feet of 24 and 36-inch pipe. And that's that dotted magenta line there. Follows the East River. Okay, so I kind of told you what the sites are, what are we doing to them. I'll go real briefly through some of the planning so that you guys understand how much work went into how we came to what we're doing. And then I'll talk to you about the design and exactly what that work is as well. During the project planning phase, we did this alternatives analysis. There's a lot of stuff that we had to review to try and figure out how can we take care of this deteriorated old pipe, right? And so we reviewed the condition, explored what rehabilitation or replacement options were viable given the condition of the pipes and the shape of the pipes and some different factors. And we had to consider the constructability, community impacts, environmental impacts that are associated with all of those options. And then obviously we attached a cost to that, put this all into this matrix that you see to the right, and that kind of spat out for us what our best options are. So that was pretty exhaustive, it was an arduous process. We came up with a recommendation to do a trenchless rehabilitation project. That is the most cost-effective way to give ourselves a new pipe, limit impacts to the community and the environment, and it still gives us a fully structural, new kind of renewed pipe. So that's what we kind of came up with, and I'll go over that project, what that is here. For the Fox River crossing, we're going to do what's called a spiral wound lining. And I have a video of this that can explain it better than I can. But the two photos here, the one on the right is during the installation process. You can kind of see a deteriorated pipe, and there's a new pipe kind of being installed inside of it, and this is the final product. Go to this video, and this explains it pretty well for us.
Spiral wound lining is a trenchless technology method used to install a lining to replace deteriorated underground pipe without digging it up. In the simplest terms, it is a pipe within a pipe. Here's how it works. A liner constructed from PVC or HDPE is fed from spools through existing manholes or access points into the deteriorated pipeline. From there, the material is mechanically or manually locked together to form a new liner, capable of resisting all applied loads that, depending on the final design and condition of the host pipe, could extend the life of the existing pipeline for up to 50 years or more.
So in essence, we're using the existing pipeline to give us at least another 50 years of design life from the existing interceptor sewer. This is to minimize kind of above grade impacts that people see on a daily basis. It's a lot more cost effective and less impactful than digging a new sewer. So that's what we're going to do on the Fox River crossing. The East Fox River Interceptor, so this has that kind of funny shape, that horseshoe shape that you can see in the right photo here. That was during the original installation in the 1930s. So what we're going to do is excavate down in one location, expose the top of the existing pipe. We're actually going to push a new pipe each direction into the existing pipeline. So there's going to be one excavation location, and we're going to rehabilitate the entire, I think it was 4,000 something feet from that one location. I've got a figure that we can look at that kind of shows this. So our excavation is here on the left, so we'll have to dig down to the existing pipeline. From there, you kind of cut the top of the existing pipe off. You start putting pieces of pipe in, and then you push them all the way down to the end. So you just keep, for 2,000 feet. So imagine this 4,200 linear foot section cut in half. You're going to push 2,100 feet of new pipe in this way, 2,100 new feet of pipe in that way. You're going to kind of put a keystone piece in there, and you're going to fill that hole right back up. So again, a new kind of corrosion-resistant pipe within the existing facility. Pretty slick, actually. So the East River Interceptor is something that New Water's done actually quite a bit of, is cured-in-place pipelining. I have another video for this one, so I'm not going to spoil that, but cured-in-place pipelining, you invert a liner inside of that, you cook it with hot water or gas, and that forms a new, almost like PVC pipe inside the existing pipe, and I'll show you a little bit of that here.
CIPP is a method used to replace a deteriorated underground pipe without digging it up. In the simplest terms, it is a pipe within a pipe. Here's how it works. A tube made of polyester felt or fiberglass, designed to the appropriate thickness and length for the application, is saturated with resin. This is also referred to as the wet-out process. The resin-saturated tube is then installed into the existing deteriorated pipe by inverting the tube into position using water or air pressure, or by pulling the tube into place and inflating it. Once in place, the tube is cured or hardened under pressure by using either heat in the form of hot water or steam, or by using ultraviolet light.
So those are kind of our three rehabilitation methods. We're also going to be rehabilitating manholes with what are called fiberglass inserts. That's going to give us kind of this whole monolithic, brand new system for the downtown interceptors, which is, we're talking about, again, 50 years it'll be until we have to come back and revisit these pipes again. So it's pretty cool what we're doing. The big part here is, how does this impact you guys? Fox River Crossing, this is going to be that spiral wound lining. This is done from existing manhole locations. So the photo on the left is what you might see for staging, where they're inserting the spiral wound lining down to an existing manhole. So you'll see a couple of support vehicles, a spool of PVC. That particular type of rehabilitation requires a partially dewatered pipe. And so the right photo is what we call temporary conveyance piping. So you might see one or two of these above grade to keep the water level in the sewer low enough that we can do the pipeline rehabilitation. So those are kind of the couple of things you're gonna see there. For site one, we'll have potential sidewalk and trail closures, and this is kind of north of Main Street between Monroe and Main, that where WPS is back in there. It's primarily where it's gonna be impacted, and then there'll be some detour and traffic impacts on Main Street. For the East Fox River Interceptor, again, this is slip lining. We have that one large excavation area that we need to put pipe down into the existing interceptor sewer. So the slip lining insertion pit is really the primary disturbance. Because it's going to be a large excavation in the public right-of-way, there are going to be traffic impacts. And so with the installation of the slip lining insertion pit, you'll see excavators, support vehicles, there might be pipe staging, different stuff like that. There's going to be breaking up of pavement. So a lot of those kind of normal construction activities is what you're going to see. And this, again, is going to be on Adams Street downtown. For the East River Interceptor, this is a cured-in-place pipelining. We just watched that video. A lot of that sewer is located in public parks. So City of Green Bay is on board. They've got a really good park charter in this project. So there's going to be some disruption to the parks and those trails that are associated with each of those parks that line the East River. There's also going to be some driveway and sidewalk impacts. So the cured-in-place pipelining needs to be a fully dewatered pipe. There can't be any wastewater in the existing pipe. And the wastewater is always full. We're going to plug up the existing pipe, pump the water out, and it's going to go on these overland temporary conveyance lines that you see here. And at driveways and sidewalks, we'll bury these things that'll look a little bit like this. So there'll be some temporary pavement and stuff at driveways, sidewalks, and roadway crossings. With that, obviously, comes some of that traffic control that we were talking about before. Real briefly about schedule, so I'll start with the bottom figure here. We're going to go out for public bids early 2024. A couple months' time from now, we're going to be going out for public bids. We anticipate a notice to proceed sometime in mid-2024, and then final completion for the project about 18 months after that, so fall of 2025. The contractor is going to control kind of the day-to-day operations about what and where they're working. That's probably a discussion that we can have. Everybody's going to want to know exactly when is my property impacted, those types of things, so we can kind of have some of those questions. Also, based on our work with Alloway and the City of Green Bay and stuff, we've got some restrictions built into our contract where the contractor can't work in the parks during the summer months, right? So we're going to try and force them to work in the parks during the winter, and there's some other kind of restrictions like that as well. If there's questions, if you guys had anything, we'd be happy to field some questions for you guys.